Hey guys, it's November 1st. Can you even believe it? Where did this year go? It doesn't matter where you are, there are things that you can plant right now. You might have snow on the ground right now. You might be dealing with 80-degree weather. It's a really nice 73 here today. But no matter where you are, like I said, we're gonna go through a list of things that you can be growing right now in November and on through the rest of the month and maybe even to December and past. Okay, so we're just gonna go through this list one by one. Now, any of these in a mild climate, any of these can be grown right now. But I'm also gonna break it down to, what your climate might be at this time in November. So if you've got a layer of snow outside, maybe you're really far north and the ground is frozen, you're kind of limited there. However, you're never limited to growing indoors. There's a couple things you can do without the need of a grow light. If you want to try your hand at microgreens, those are so fun and so easy. Noah and I did a video last spring on that, and I will link it down below. Super easy ways to grow microgreens with literally no muss, no fuss. You can also, if you have a sunny south-facing window, you can grow an herb garden. Good choices for small pots in a sunny window would be cilantro, rosemary, basil, dill, oregano, and thyme. Just use really well-draining soil that's moisture retentive. Make sure they do get 4 to 6 hours of sun. Now, are they going to grow as robustly as they would outside? Of course not. But you're still going to have fresh herbs right there in your sunny window when maybe right past that view is a blanket of snow on the ground. Now, it's important if you have some kind of window covering that you don't close that up at night and leave the herbs in between the window and the curtain, because that is going to trap the cold air coming in through the window, and your plants aren't going to like that so much. Now, maybe your ground's not frozen solid, but you are getting, an occasional bit of snow. There are some greens, like the Asian greens, Mizuna, and some mustards that they will take the snow just fine. So you could plant them. If you want to get them growing fast, they're probably going to grow a lot slower from seed. So if you have some transplants you can put in from the garden center, that would probably be your best bet. But any of the Asian greens are going to do really well in that kind of weather. If you've got some snow on the ground, but your ground is not frozen solid, you can still plant garlic. I'm going to put a link below to a garlic video that I did last year. It's almost time to plant garlic here. I think one more week, probably next week, I'll be doing my garlic video. So if you are in a milder winter climate, you can wait for that video. Otherwise, if you have just a limited time until your ground is frozen solid, get on it now. Check that video out down below. Now, if you have the same type of weather, if it's snowing every once in a while, it's pretty cold outside, there are more things. You can expand your selection of what you're growing if you can cover them up and protect them. Whether it's a greenhouse or a polytunnel, a high tunnel if you've got that, or even some cloches, anything that's going to cover them up and keep some of that heat in is going to push the boundaries of what you can grow right now even further. Some good choices for that would be green onions, bunching onions, spring onions, whatever you want to call them. Some pak choi would do really well that way. Most of your lettuces, the cut and come again variety, you do not have time to get head lettuces, but the cut and come again variety of lettuces would be do really well in that situation. Peas, now depending on how cold it is and how well you've got them covered, you might not get the actual pea pods, but pea shoots are actually really delicious. Basically the end of each stem where it's going to put out a tendril or a blossom for a pea, you can cut those off, put them in salads, you can even stir fry them, and they're really good. And then kale, of course, is a really cold and heat tolerant green that you can grow if you've got some cover, but sometimes it doesn't need it. Sometimes the snow itself will protect kale. Now, if you're in a mild winter climate like me, this is a great time to plant bulbing onions or slicing onions. Short day varieties. And in fact, I will be planting my onion seed probably in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. If you just can't wait, I've got a link to that down below as well. Now, another great one for mild winter climates right now is any of the brassicas. So broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. It might be a little late to plant them from seed. Never hurts to try, but you can definitely go to your garden center and get transplants, and that's going to get your crop here quicker. A lot of times if you plant seeds of the brassicas now, they're just going to grow really slow and really not produce anything until maybe February, March, even April. If you start out with some garden center transplants, you might get them coming a lot sooner than that. You can also plant seeds of carrots, beets, parsnips, radish. Those root crops do really well in mild winter climates, planted from seed right now. You might even get away, if you're on the line between mild and cold, you might even get away with them covering them up until they start growing, and then any of those can actually take frost or a snow. So I know the list of things we can grow at this time of year, in the northern hemisphere at least, is getting shorter and shorter. But if you've still got that green blood flowing in your veins and you need to be planting something, these are a few choices that are going to help you out. Now, this coming Friday, we're going to be actually going back into ornamentals, and I'm going to be planting my spring blooming bulbs. So tulips, daffodils, different things like that. So for us in mild winter climates, it's time. And I think even those, let's see, you might be getting too late. If your ground is not frozen, you can join right along with me. If it is frozen, hopefully you got your bulbs in before then. I'll see you next time.